Nanton, Alberta, a small farming community located an hour south of Calgary on the No. 2 highway. Established by frontiersmen, farmers, and businessmen alike. Nanton was founded on June 22, 1903 and incorporated on August 9, 1907. Unofficially known as the community of Mosquito Creek, the community was named Nanton in 1892 when the McLeod branch of the C&E Railway arrived. The town was named after a Sir Augustus Meredith Nanton. Nanton left his native Toronto in 1883 to Winnipeg to join a brokerage and investment firm that promoted development of the Prairie West in Canada. The firm administered the Calgary and Edmonton Land Company, a branch of the Calgary and Edmonton Railway, also known as the C&E, which managed land sales between Edmonton, specifically Strathcona County, and Fort Macleod. Nanton became historically known as Tap Town after providing passing motorists with free water supplied from the foothills via a stand tap on the northbound highway. This water was one of the first to be bottled and sold in Canada, resulting in the creation of Nanton Water and Soda Limited, still a thriving business in town today. And just below the surface of everyday life in Nanton is an extraordinary history that is largely unknown. A history that is incredibly important to the identity of Alberta and Western Canada itself. The Canadian Grain Elevator Society was established in the early 2000s to protect the grain elevators from being destroyed and preserve them as heritage sites. Meet Pam Woodall, a member of the Nanton Grain Elevator Discovery Center.
Elevators were the lifeblood of these small towns and enabled farmers to get their grain out. They enabled people to make a living, and they also provided a huge community center. People would gather in the grain elevators. You know, when farmers and ranchers came to bring their grain, this was where you caught up on news. This was essentially an informal coffee shop or gathering spot for a lot of people in this area. That's where you found out what was going on. You met your neighbors. It was enormously important to keep that going. There would probably be no Nanton without the railway. In the 30s, there were about 2,000 elevators across the prairies. Now in 2024, there are under 100 left in Alberta. So being that the elevators were a massive part of agricultural, not just the business part, but the social part of our communities, it is enormously important to preserve them. We have school groups come through. We put on concerts and other art events to get people to come in here and see them, not just for what they were, but for what the potential is to have them here and to showcase the heritage aspect of them as well.
In light of this incredible landmark, what other historical experiences does Nanton have to offer? Well, for starters, a museum dedicated to the sacrifices that took place during the Great Wars and beyond, honoring the men and women who served to protect our freedom. The Lancaster Society was formed in 1986, and the museum was originally in what is now known as the FCSS building. Extensive funding and development has led to what the museum is now known as today. It also houses one of only 4 running Lancaster aircrafts in the world. Dan Fox is the Vice President of the Nanton Bomber Command Museum of Canada.
We're trying to teach new visitors that come in and youth, school groups, cadets, and so on, is how important it is that we remember and honor history. I think that it's extremely important that we put Nanton on the map, for one thing, by honoring our history, and the grain elevators are a good example. That's an important part of our history. We have a number of names on the cenotaph and on our memorial wall of young men from Nanton who signed up, went off to war, and did not return.
But not only are the heritage sites of Nanton important to our history, but so are the individuals of the community who help give the town its friendly, welcoming atmosphere. This is Bridget Jones, a resident of Nanton for over 60 years.
The town have done very well in the way that they've kept things the same in a way, but they've encouraged gradual growth so that we can assimilate the people that come. And it's a pity when you change too quickly. It doesn't give people a feeling of belonging. A lot of them are descended from the early homesteaders, so that a lot of the families are well dug in.
And Ross McIntyre, a former mayor of Nanton.
1992. I came here in 1990, and I decided I knew everything I should know, and someone said, well, you're smart, run for mayor. And by God, I got in, I defeated the guy that was running too, so I got in. And it's a crazy guy. When I just always liked Nanton, I stuck up for it all the time in my life. And I just like the way people are very friendly here, and it's easy to get around.
With all its historical landmarks and fascinating characters, Nanton is still a growing community with plenty of new faces. But what does the future hold for Nanton? Further development? New opportunities? New faces? One can only tell by coming to the community and seeing it for yourself. And who knows, you might even decide to stay for a while.
I don't think I chose Nanton. I think Nanton chose me.